All right. What's happening? Global Healing Collective community. So great to be with you on another amazing Conscious Business Spotlight. Today I have Michael Pottern with Find My Zen, which I'm really just excited to have yet another catalyst, a person that has, stepped forward and invested in the Global Healing Collective to get the organization off the ground, to get it going, is one of those catalysts that have done that, and we're so excited to jump on a call and talk, and spotlight the work you're doing at Find My Zen. Hi.
Hi, Nick.
We know each other pretty well, so I think that there's going to be a little bit of joshing and joking and some fun times that will probably happen in our conversation today. I am going to go and just do a quick check to make sure that we are actually live, and then we'll be good to go. So, Mr. Pottern, tell us about Find My Zen. What inspired you to begin building that work and creating that work? Where is it at today? Just give us a little bit about the organization and what you're up to.
Sure. So we basically have been in process of, I think, kind of outlining the business model itself for about 4 years now. I guess, inspiration came from a 4-month road trip that I did around the US while I was kind of exiting my first business and also working with another technology company that I'm a partner in, and basically looking at how to bring in more, I think, kind of conscious investment to businesses that really connect people in different ways. And as I did this 4-month road trip, I stopped in 28 different cities. I had learned transcendental meditation while I was in Chicago, which was a real big catalyst for both me kind of exploring my own internal journey of health and really purpose. And as I traveled through these 28 cities, I have a pretty expansive network and kind of had really good Sherpas of people that were like, hey, here's what's going on in these different towns, and realized also that there was such a wide variety of experiences, modalities, and just uniqueness that each of these cities had and what the offerings were. And I also realized that so many of the people and friends that I'd stay with and connect with while I was in each city didn't realize how many different things were going on. And so they were like, oh yeah, no, I've heard of Kundalini and I've heard of breath work, but yeah, we don't really have much of that here. I was like, oh, well, actually, I'm signed up for a workshop this weekend, or these things. And then, as of course, with social media, I would post about some of these things and I would get several messages saying, hey, I wish I would have known about that. Next time you go to a festival or an event like that, please let me know. So kind of from there, I realized that my background is kind of in connection companies. My first business was a real estate apartment locating service in Chicago. And really, those kind of are founded in two things. One, with I think, kind of realizing that there's a marketplace that is seeking something, and that there's just a fragmented business space where there's just not the connection points where people can easily discover these types of things, as well as that there's a lot of self-limiting beliefs or reasons that they don't do things or explore, or even on the real estate side, that I can only live in these certain blocks. And quite often you kind of have to just really talk to them about what they're really trying to accomplish. So quickly got very excited about all the different things that I was discovering, and said, all right, well, let's just kind of continue to explore this. And then when I was living in Bali, got connected with some real great entrepreneurs that were up in Canada. We stayed connected. I actually went up to Montreal. I was supposed to be for 5 days, ended up staying up there for about 5 weeks, and realized that there's just so much more than just the end user or the studios and the just kind of teachers that we see. There's just so much more opportunity and so much more depth of where the business side of I think conscious companies and or this wellness space really has. So decided to say, okay, I'm going to commit to this space. Still was pretty gray around what that might look like. And fortunately, I decided to move back to Colorado, which is my home state, and had another business I was kind of working with and my partner in, that I said, all right, well, this is a great place for me to truly land. And Boulder, of course, is a little mini Silicon Valley. And so I said, well, if I haven't done a tech company myself, but this is a perfect opportunity to kind of experiment with that. And then fortunately, it got connected to a CEO of a tech platform that works with like Zach Brown Band and Warner Brothers. And how do you create community within millions of fans? And we decided to do a partnership, which now has led us to creating what is now Find My Zen.
Hmm. And so Find My Zen today. So it was an incredible 4-year journey that you just kind of synthesized right there into a couple minutes. And and so I think we'll dive a little bit more into that as we continue to talk today. So Find My Zen as of today, you said you were on a 28 city tour. How many cities do you have offerings in now, and what do you find is the platform really connecting? What is it connecting people to at the moment?
Yes,
Now
yes,
that
yes.
we're 4 years in, you're live in production. The app's out there in the world. So like, what does that look like right now?
Sure. So we've been more or less live, kind of on the actual business app, released for about 2.5 years now. We have now grown into 12 cities. We're aggregating about 7,000 wellness events that we're tracking, that are always live in those 12 different cities. We're actually expanding to 6 more Colorado cities this month. So really, we're both obviously using that as the layer one, because it's kind of the chicken and the egg when you're doing a two-sided marketplace. And so we figured out how we can sync in with Facebook, Eventbrite, Meetup, and really make this a seamless thing where nobody else has to do extra work. And then we have a curation process through our ambassador network, that we discover these events and start kind of layering those into the platform. And then we have expanded into more of a wellness locator. So then you can actually also discover the juice bars, the tea houses, the spas, the massage studios, all the different things that also are a part of wellness, because the events are great, and that helps connect people to not only things that they can benefit and develop and go deeper with themselves, but it also connects them to community. And I think experiential learning is such a meaningful thing, because so many of my friends have read the books on meditation, and then they reach out and they're like, I'm still stressed out. And I'm like, well, are you actually practicing? They're like, no, I need to find the right thing. And so how do you do that? And usually that really comes through, I think, connection with teachers that can really find those sweet spots of where those, again, self-limiting beliefs and those roadblocks that really prevent us from actually saying, all right, this is truly a path that I want to continue on.
Mm, mm. And so how now that you're 2 years in with the app and you got 12 cities going into 18 this year, it's thousands and thousands of events and brick and mortars that you're, connecting people to, why is this work and mission continually important to change makers and leaders? Like I think you lean into that a little bit towards the end there with talking about
Mm-hmm.
your friends and, but maybe that's where you might want to go with it, but what is the why at this
Sure.
point?
So the why is that quite often, most of the people that do go into business in this space really go into it with a passion purpose, or a creative purpose. They're not usually business background. I definitely have kind of more been in that space of the business development in different verticals besides this. And so really, I think what Find My Zen can do is act as an extension to really support the businesses and those conscious leaders, and really that way that they need to be able to focus on what they're doing, which is working with both the end users, the clients, the students, as well as focusing on their employees and things of that nature. And we act as kind of a more extension of their marketing. We act as opportunity finder. We act as really a centralized place that they can rely on to say, oh, I know that they can look out for opportunities that I'm not seeing. They can see things that events that I can actually be a supporter of and really get my brand out there in ways that I don't have the time to do.
Hmm.
And we're also leaning into thought leadership right now because I think that's also such a needed space for both people to be supported and highlighted and celebrated.
Mhm.
Also, I think as a student, as they kind of just lean in and start taking their first steps into the space, there's so much content out there right now that there's not really a great conduit of how they can trust that content and or why they would say, oh, this is great. Because quite often it's, these blogs and things written from people that are in other countries or in other cities that they're like, oh yeah, great, San Francisco, how does that relate to me? So we
Hmm.
really then again bring that back to that localized level. So then the things that they're discovering on our platform are people from their network, people from their area, people that they can actually go deeper with when they get a little excited and have that first inclination of, ooh, this might be something I want to go deeper with.
Yeah, as a person who has a busy schedule, busy life, the just to be able to go and find something to participate in is that in me and browsing the app, I can go and I can see, okay, do I or don't I, right? In those moments where it just gives me a very clear line to, what do I want to go out and experience, today for my own awareness building, for my own growth, for potentially my own self care. You know, so I've really appreciated the fact that it's like that is right there. You
Thank
know,
you. Yeah.
and you could just go and find it. And so, how do you see your work as a catalyst, creating this ripple of impact? In within not only the Global Healing Collective, but within the world. The I super am just honored to be your friend and to know that that the all of these experiences that all of our catalysts are doing creating in the world, they take an extensive amount of time. They're very passionate about it, and so what and you're creating such a really clear, as you said, there's this problem where people don't want to go and do something, and you're really giving them the opportunity to go and connect in with these events and these brick and mortars, these locations. So how do you see that work
Sure.
continuing to ripple out?
Well, the one thing I'll just kind of, I think I really appreciate your reflection because, yeah, we don't have time to sign up for more newsletters and we're just in an information overload. So when we can give people access to things, when I say, hey, it's Thursday, I want to go do something on Saturday, where do I start? I don't have time to go digging through emails and looking at all this different stuff because I'll end up just bookmarking stuff or I'll just say and kind of get into an overload state. So I think that's just the first kind of obviously community side of like, oh, I can go do this. And really, while I have that motivation, I can actually execute and activate.
Mhm.
But then to really see where that kind of creates the ripple effect, I truly see the most exciting part of what I'm seeing right now is the fact of seeing community as abundance and really where that collaboration can actually be so much more empowering because I think quite often, these people, again, don't have that business background. They kind of sometimes see it as scarcity mindset of like, well, I don't know, am I going to be sending my clients somewhere else? And it really, I think, is the wrong way to look at things because we're in such a unique time where wellness is becoming such a common thing. I mean, 10 years ago, you were starting to hear about yoga, maybe a little meditation, but now we're hearing about gong baths. We're hearing about breath work. We have so many different things that are infusing into the space that are such a meaningful, vital part of our just health and vitality. And so when you can actually start seeing, Denver, Boulder, Colorado as such an epicenter where I live right now, and seeing so many different channels coming into this. So I like to say threads and themes of where can we actually start getting more community involved in this space. And so when you can then bring in music and actually see the collaboration of musicians and breathwork and putting those together, and then even bringing in gongs and sound journey and vibration it really creates this thing where I don't need to get so concerned about, oh, I don't know what breath work is, or I don't know what yoga nidra is. I can actually just say, I like this artist and I want to go see something very different and actually have a very immersive experience. And you have Meow Wolf and all these things that are really just pushing those boundaries. And so I see Find My Zen as just this kind of glue, or this nexus point where people can start seeing, oh wow, maybe if I actually participate in my community, one, I actually get better brand recognition from my own clients of I'm a community supporter, which
Mhm.
of course I want to support those people and actually go further on the journey. I don't want to just pop around and just try out all these different things, because it really doesn't allow me to go deeper. So I want to go deeper on my journey with the people that are doing the collaboration, so I don't have to just go around and popcorn style and say, oh, this worked, this didn't. I want to trust and actually use the network that's already latently there from the teachers network, and saying, oh, if you're really wanting to get better sleep, you have insomnia, it's not just let's go do more yoga. Quite often those things can sometimes be actually triggering and almost cultivating the wrong thing. It's when you can fuse that in with other practices, nutrition, and then actually use those teachers networks. So that's kind of the layer one, and then the second layer is actually promoting the city itself as a hub. I think that you will just draw more awareness, more international people that can come in, more of those, I think deeper resources that see the value of extending. We just participated, and we're a connected partner with the America Meditates event that came to Denver in July, and that was from the Art of Living Institute. And they had about 4,000 people that came to in person Denver City's Park, and then also they had about 300,000 people watching live streams. So obviously that just puts Denver more on the hub as this place that, oh, I want to go there because I see all this stuff going on.
Mhm.
So that's another layer of just then the city's growth. And then you take
Yeah.
that to the world. I think that there's again just so many rich, deep histories, especially in other parts of the world where they do have such true tradition. My friend Whitney just came from India and helped lead some workshops down in Denver and also at Steamboat Movement Festival, where his lineage is just so subtle and so potent, and they don't want to do the marketing. They don't, that's not what they're there for. So how can we just be a little bit of that spark, be a little bit of that stokingness of that fire that is already there, and let that be the ripple, and just actually create these wells that we can actually see as, oh, I could go over to Bali, I can go to Europe's got so many touch points that are just like amazing people, that when we can get them traveling, it also creates even more supportiveness for their businesses, because they can actually realize that they can create more, especially with the online technology that's coming out in education. So we can actually share in these experiences while we are in different countries, global meditations. I mean, these things both are just amazing to be a part of. And,
Mm.
maybe there is a little bit more value when you have millions of people meditating at the same time, just from the energetic frequency of the world.
Yeah. What's what has been your this is a little bit off of the questions, but like what's kind of been surprising for you of a ripple that's been created in the last 4 years from Find My Zen coming into existence, that brings you joy, or that brings you
Yeah.
excitement, or that brings you happiness about going down this path.
It's actually a beautiful question I've been sitting with a lot in the past couple of weeks, because I've just been so energetically feeling success in a very different way. Obviously, financially is important to have the stability and the security in some ways, but when you can change your success metric as not what your paycheck is coming home, but it is to the abundance of just your daily life. My life from first business to now is quite different of what type of meetings I go to, how we even engage in those meetings, how we, I mean, connect. And actually, I mean, I even just talking with you right now, I can feel that resonance and that excitement building in me. I get a little goosebumps when I even think about it, because it really, that to me is so much more nourishing, both for the mind and the nervous system. And really, I think quite often, if you truly peel back, what people are looking for in success is they want to be content, they want to be connected, they want to feel love. And so that's really what my life has really evolved into, where it is such a I mean, it's almost like a festival every day. I'm like, I get to go to this, and then I go to workshops, and then and I have these really meaningful business meetings as well with people that just we take a second, we ask, how are you doing, what's alive for you right now, we breathe, we really allow to be present, versus,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I need to just hammer through these points, let's get it done, let's execute, let's push it out. And then quite often it really, from a marketing standpoint, it doesn't have the juice that then people resonate with. When you can empower the projects you do with that je ne sais quoi, with that, like especially with other people and their passion, and when again you're working with people that are so passionate and creative, and you actually can stoke that in them, it's almost palpable. And I think even energetically through technology, you can still feel that, and it doesn't need to just be in person. So yeah, that's I think what is the most unique that I've realized in the past 6 months. I would say for the most part, it's just it's yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm.
What's a what's an ask that you have for the Global Healing Collective, for the folks that will see this or watch it back? What's an ask you have?
Sure. So we are really, I think, getting clear on both what our value add is, as well as the way that we can support, as well, with our systems and processes are all in place now. So we have formed partnerships with a number of different businesses and organizations in the last couple months that I think are just really creating such a scaffolding and framework that allows both our business to grow, and also these smaller little pods to also kind of lean in and attach to. So we've just partnered with the Center of Evidence-Based Yoga, which is teaching these online courses with more niche capacities for teachers to actually develop their own brand in new ways, around trauma and different things where they can be supported. And then also we have a partnership down in Denver with Friday Night Yoga Club, which has been around for a number of years, as well as Yoga Rocks the Park. And how can they also get new people coming into the system? Because obviously they already have their awareness, but how do we bring in these other communities, like, oh, wow, this is already there, what can I get into? And then living up in Boulder, there's so many special hidden gems. So I would say what our biggest ask is really connections to those mid-sized businesses, even brands that really have a desire and willingness to explore what the creative opportunities are to layer into the space. Obviously, I think it's such a meaningful thing for any brand to be thinking ahead, or businesses, of what am I not seeing right now? Who can already just plug and play and actually be a collaborative partner right away? Because really, it's from our perspective, we see things from a 5,000-foot view versus a 50-foot or a 500-foot view. So it's really connections to businesses that are looking to expand, whether they have multiple locations or they just have quality content, and they've really have that voice that, again, then when our users see that, then they're like, oh, wow, I totally get what that is, versus, just some things that are just kind of thrown together. And, we really are looking for those businesses and organizations and causes as well, that are at that engagement place where they're like, we're wanting to expand. We have the momentum, or we have the excitement. And really, when you have the excitement and the willingness, that's, I think, pretty much what we're looking for.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I know another partnership you shared with me was a beverage group.
Hmm.
and like how they can figure out a way to just kind of tie into to the events and to the locations and all the people that are on the platform. So, it could be a piece of merchandise, it could be a shirt company, it could be a hat company, it could be a beverage company, it could be a growing studio that has a variety of things. It could be a practitioner, that is looking to collaborate with other with studios. There's so many things that Find My Zen is doing, not only for the person who's looking to find the Zen literally, but also for the people that are providing those experiences. And so that's really, really, really great. It's an honor to have you as a catalyst for our community, for a person that has stepped into a role of knowing that the Global Healing Collective is moving in a direction that uplifts not only Find My Zen, yourself, but other catalysts. And so thank you for being a person in that place.
Thank you. And yeah, and I just want to say thank you for just that last little part because we're about to launch a teacher, facilitator, practitioner directory. We have a number of projects and features that we're just about to roll out in the next 2 months that really will be that extension point. So yes, like you said, Tico, beverage company that we just partnered with, and they're doing wellness lounges and they're looking for ambassadors. And again, that's such an opportunity to get those micro influencers more connections. And I mean, that really is the most exciting part, is how to connect the people doing the things, not just the users and students and clients.
Mhm. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Till our next Conscious Business Spotlight. Appreciate you all joining us right now. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.